Good afternoon. My name is Dwight Kevin Winfield Jr. and this is my survey project. For my survey, I decided to do a grade point average survey, and the following questions helped me analyze my responses. The first question I asked were, are you a male or female? The responses could be male or female, and it is a categorical response. The second question was, what is your year in school? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, or super senior? And this once again was a categorical response. What is your grade point average? Below 2.0, between 2.0 and 2.5, between 3.0 and 3.5, and above 3.5 is a quantitative response. Hours studied per day, less than an hour, 1 to 2 hours, 3 to 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, and above 5 hours is also a quantitative response. These are the results of my grade point average survey. As you can see, for the first question, are you male or female, all my responses were females. I had a range of people between freshman and senior who took my survey. The GPAs ranged between 2.5 and above 3.5. For hours of study, I had some that studied less than hours and no one who studied more than 3 to 4 hours per day. For my research question, I decided to use the two quantitative results to see if the number of hours spent studying directly affected the student's grade point average. This was an interesting question to me to know if the hours put in studying would directly affect my grades. For my first graph, I decided to use a bar graph to show the study hours per week. As you can see, I had one response for someone less than an hour, one response for someone that studied 3 to 4 hours, 3 responses for someone who studies 2 to 3 hours, and 2 responses to study for 1 to 2 hours. I also used a bar graph to show the GPAs. I had 4 responses for people who had above 3.5, 1 response for someone who had between a 2.5 and 3.0, and 2 responses for someone who had between a 3.0 and a 3.5. To see both of these results in the same graph, I decided to use a box plot. In this box plot, you can see the grade point averages of 2.5, 3.0, and 3.5, and the hours per week as my Y value. At 2.5, I had one person who studied 3 hours. At 3.0, I had a range of about 2 hours to 4 hours. And at 3.5, I had one outliner who studied less than an hour, and then the range of 1.5 to 3 hours. With my grade point average survey, you cannot have a conclusive result. Reason being, this was because it was a convenience-based survey and the population was not normal. But I still was able to do a hypothesis test. With this, with a p-value of 0.132, we do not have evidence to show that the mean hours spent is greater than the mean grade point average. With 95% confident that the mean grade point average is between 0.224 less to 1.509 more than hours spent per week studying, this conclusion is not valid because the sample was not normal. In conclusion, we were not able to see if hours studied per week directly affected grades. One factor I think you can think of is the study habits of each student is different. I think to make this survey effective, each student would have to use the same style of studying, and we would have to have a larger amount of students. Thank you.